We have one left.
One
quarterback left. And I know people couldn't wait to see where Jalen Hurts was. And I was excited for that one, too.
Yeah.
I'm more excited for this conversation to kind of listen and follow up here with the guy who shows up at 21.
Yes, Daniel Jones, 21. Tough one here. This is maybe one of the toughest rankings of the whole thing.
Why?
Because the team sucked, and it's hard to freaking tell at times.
It was such a hard offense to watch last year.
It's hard to tell. And one thing when you go back and watch the Giants or anything, and you go, Daniel Jones is definitely one of the best players in their football team. Let's clear that up. It's definitely. When he had a chance, when his team wasn't totally overwhelmed, he played pretty good. Right. And the games you're going to look at and go, oh, he played really bad, I'm going to go, they had absolutely no chance in some of those games. He had no protection, banged up at receiver, no running game to talk about or anything. So, yes, that's where it's a little tough. That's where it's a tough ranking. There's no doubt. Are there things about his game that he needs to improve? Definitely. All right. But there's still a lot of things I look at and go, damn, it's good.
Yeah.
One, hey, how we talk about this, the physical ability. He's got a good arm. He can control the football. He's a very good athlete. I mean, he can really run. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's one of the better running quarterbacks in football. Smarts, all of that, I think are better than the numbers are going to say.
Yeah.
Okay?
Sounds like you think the biggest reasons for them struggling are more about them than they are about him.
Yes. I do think that's more of the problem. Now, you know my criteria. I just had two of them. They were good.
Yeah. Now,
here's the two things where I want better. We need Daniel Jones. You got to fucking take the team by storm. We got to have more emotion. You got to own it a little bit. You got to be that guy a little bit. Like when we talk about the positive of Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
This is one part of like Giants and Daniel Jones where I go, you're too quiet. You're too good of a Boy Scout. Everything. You got to start being an asshole. I don't know if I've ever seen you yell or show emotion yet on the field in the NFL. Right? There's got to be some effect there. So
little Tom Brady on the sideline.
Little Tom Brady, a little bit of that. I would like to see that. I think that is one of the downfalls of him, right? And I think a little bit is probably because he's a respectful guy too, and he probably feels like he hasn't played well enough, and the team isn't good enough to justify it, which plays into this.
Yeah.
F all that. You're the starting quarterback. Take control.
Nothing like
pocket presence too, as I talk about, is one of my things. It's not that great. That's one thing he's got to get better at.
The turnovers, fumbles, sacks.
He's very good at finding the spot to step up to go, okay, you could throw it. But then his clock turns off at times, like we've talked about in past, where you go, wait, you stepped up. That was nice. But they didn't stop coming. They're still coming. Mm-hmm. Like, you got to throw, run, do something. We can't pat the ball 4 more times after we stepped up in the pocket.
Right.
And now we're in the middle of the mosh pit and just think, oh, I stepped up. I'm good for a few minutes.
Right.
That's got to improve. So that's where he's at 22 or 21, excuse me. Those are some issues, but there's still some lot to like about what he does too.
Yeah.
And that's where, like I said, he's tough.
Go ahead and remind people.
Yeah.
I've got some follow-ups here, but just your number one. You said there's a lot to like. I feel like people need to hear that around here because it's easy to bash him right now for how the team is done and for his turnovers. Number one thing to like and keep in mind about him.
Well, he's like tough and has talent. I mean, he does have talent.
It's a good place to start.
Yes. Again, he's doesn't lose control of the football. You can go back in games again, whether it's, like, hey, look at the Saints game. Oddly enough, that was a game they protected pretty well, had a game plan. I mean, he tore them up. Washington football team the first time around, tore them up, made plays. You give him just a little time. Like, he can make some really nice throws and make a lot of great 10 to 20-yard throws. I wish he was a little bit better with more of the explosive down-the-field throws and all that. But, again, even when he has time and there's people, like, his decision-making is quick when it's there and to be had. It is. Where he falls in trouble is, hey, 1's not open, 2's not open, 3's not open. Let's not keep padding for number 4. Let's just get out and go and play ball a little bit.
Right.
So he sees the field and processes things very nicely that way. And then he throws perfect spirals, doesn't lose control of the ball much, but wish he would turn his front shoulder more to create a little bit more power in some of his throws. And again with some of the other issue, and then the running thing is real.
Runs it well, yeah.
I mean, hey, they only had a chance in some games because of his running.
Yeah,
that was like the number one threat they had on the offense. Well, we got to play this defense because the read option off the edge with Daniel Jones might gash us for 15 yards in this drive.
Right.
So again, like I said, he's a really tough one to evaluate because it's been a lot of different offensive coordinators, and as I've said to just about every radio or TV I've talked to, don't just chalk it up to, oh well, he wasn't behind the best O-line. You're not doing it justice. He was behind the worst O-line. It's not close. It was the worst. For 2 years in a row, it is clearly the worst. And that's where it also, don't let that affect your thought of Daniel Jones.
It's and again, grouping him together with these other guys that you've already listed. You have Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields going into their second year.
Yeah.
They struggled last year a lot, but there's so much optimism and belief at that point of their careers.
Right.
This season is theirs no matter what.
Yes,
if they stay healthy, they are the guys, period.
Right.
We want to think you're great.
Right.
We want to applaud you.
Right.
He's only 2 years older.
I know.
The sense of urgency wrapped up around this guy.
Yeah.
It's with the now or never in all caps with the exclamation points. Like, I want to see how he responds to that. And it's just a reminder of how quickly these things change.
No, definitely. Because there was that optimism after his first year. Going into the second year, it was, we look good that year. We're here.
Feels like it was 100 years ago.
The team fell apart. So that's the issue. Damn, what was I going to say there? But I think, yes, it's just, it's we've seen no light at the end of the tunnel for the team, right? He's got the fumbles and that issue, right? So that doesn't help it out. Then there's no wins or losses or anything there. And, we're in the era of, that's why we blame the quarterback. Or we blame the quarterback for that. And that's why I'm here to tell you a little bit that just, I don't know how much you can expect with the situation he was in. That's situation. Where I think you got to be real.
New situation though now.
Right.
Seems like it should be more advantageous for him.
Right.
I'm going to say this one thing, and you can just respond how you want.
Yeah.
Brian Daboll goes from calling plays for Josh Allen to Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, I think it's great for Daniel Jones. Daboll's awesome offensive mind, right? He's, I think, going to have some things in the offense here where, a little like we talked about before, where he's going to go, damn, I never knew you did it this way, or wow, this is really cool how you get these guys open this way. I think it's only going to embolden him. I think Daboll has a little bit of an eye of quarterback mechanics where he's going to help him too, just like he did for Josh Allen.
Yeah.
And then like thought process as well. We know a lot of these teams have all the same plays.
Sure.
But there's a reason one coach is better at it than others, because of how he can convey how to read the play, what to look for, and the nuances there to go from it. Is he going to be able to make some of the crazy plays and throws that Josh Allen can make? No, he's not.
Can't, yeah.
No, that's like all timeness, like you're talking about. But I don't think there's going to be limitations on the offense.
Okay.
And then also with the quarterback design runs that Daboll has,
he's going
to be able to call some of this stuff too.
I think Josh Allen was averaging 7 or 8 runs per game last year.
I would think you're going to see
Same thing?
some of that, no doubt about it. Yes, I think that's going to be a part of this offense. So, and hopefully they can protect him a little bit. As far as like what we talk about on the field, and I'd like to see more. See, the other reason the Giants believe in them, though, is because they see all the stuff he does off the field. So they know that there's stuff there. There's intangibles that lead to positive outcomes.
Right.
And that's where, again, and then, just to challenge people, like I know this probably be a controversial comment, but like, do people think that if Daniel Jones was the quarterback of the Eagles, they wouldn't have been as good last year? Like that's where I would just pose that challenge to you.
You think he's a quarterback next year?
I do. My heart of hearts, I say I do. Yes, I think the team and Daboll are going to be good enough, finally, to where he'll be able to show his talents. Yes, so I'm going to, as of right now, I'm going to play. My gut tells me he will be the starting quarterback of the Giants.
We have a first here.
Yeah.
First here in Unbuttoned. We have the first audio question in Unbuttoned history. It has to do with Daniel Jones. Comes from Corey Joskowitz.
Do the Giants have a guy that, if he's playing at his best level and the team around him is playing good, can be a top 5 talent, a top 10 talent, or are we talking top 15 Kirk Cousins, level, okay, maybe this guy is going to get you there, but he might not necessarily be making the elite level plays outside of the pocket when things are breaking down. That's going to make a difference. Do we have a skinny Josh Allen, or do we have a fast Kirk Cousins?
That's a good one.
I'll take a skinny Josh Allen.
Yeah, that's really funny. It's a good question.
It's a great question.
And I think that my honest answer there would be, like, no, I don't think he's ever going to be a superstar. I don't ever think he's going to be, like, top 5 quarterback. But do I think he could be, so what Corey's explaining, maybe Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins-ish, right?
Yeah.
I do. And can you win a Super Bowl with that? Of course you can. 100%. There's no doubt. I mean, again, I'd sit here and argue that if Derek Carr and Kirk Cousins were the quarterback of the 49ers, they'd probably have 2 Super Bowls. Yeah, so that's where I'll just throw that out there.
A couple moments ago, I asked you if you thought that Daniel Jones would be the quarterback next year, and you were very thoughtful and took a couple seconds and said yes.
Yes.
You saying that he could potentially become like one of those guys, like a Derek Carr, perennial, just almost in the top 10. I mean, that answered it more emphatically than your actual yes answer.
Yeah. Well, I know. The first question, I was just thinking about, all right, the team, some of the circumstances around it, because I know that's going to play into this factor.
Nothing wrong with taking a little time. Yeah.
But yes, I do think his top-end talent is around those guys. Listen, Kirk Cousins, take for instance what he is. Daniel Jones is really smart, just like him.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones' arm is just as good as Kirk Cousins. Daniel Jones is bigger and definitely a better athlete. There's no doubt about that. So there you go. Maybe more injury prone, Pete's saying in my ear. But, Pete, why do you think some of the injuries are happening is what Chris would ask you. Oh, that's right, because no one can fucking block for the guy ever, and they don't have a Dalvin Cook running game that opens up holes to run play-action pass or anything. Look, some of the games, and if you go back and watch the throws, right, it's comical when you watch the Giants and Daniel Jones. It's comical. It's like watching – like the Bad News Bears or Necessary Roughness, the old movie.
Yeah.
He gets the ball, he has to look at a guy, and he has to go right to the line of scrimmage to go, oh gosh, there's a guy coming.
Yeah.
And there can be spurts of 8 and 10 throws in a row of that, where you go, oh my gosh, are they ever going to block anybody for the guy today?
You know how many teams in the NFC scored fewer points than the Giants last year?
Gosh,
Zero.
None. Yeah,
None.
I'm not shocked by that.
Only the Jaguars in the whole league. I forget if I made this comment with you or with Peter last winter. I'm like, having the Giants on during the afternoon is like having golf on, where you just like you can kind of just like take a nice nap to it because it's good white noise in the background. They were that boring to watch last year.
They were that boring to watch. And here's another tidbit for like Daniel Jones and maybe his worth a little bit, right? Because I always think about these things to how I know I'm going to frame my conversation and the argument and, try to prove why I have this guy here at this ranking. And again, I don't think I'm right about everything, but I think about it a lot. How'd the Giants look when he got hurt? Just tell me about that.
Jake Fromm?
Did Mike Glennon, Jake Fromm?
You already talked about it when you were talking about Jalen Hurts, one of the games he won, because he was against those guys.
Right. They fell apart, the Giants. Yeah. They were QB sneaking on 3rd and 8.
It's a good call.
That's where people
see if you can get 2 of it
so
back.
There's a little context for the Daniel Jones side of the argument. Look at how shitty and how they had no fucking chance when Daniel Jones got hurt. None. Like, it was over. Like, it was literally like, these quarterbacks are 2 for 12, and oh my gosh, the Giants are, only a touchdown down, and they're kind of hanging in here with the game because their defense is keeping them in it. I mean, they had no chance at all. So, I mean, that shows you a little bit about what his worth is to the football team and what he can do.
Yeah,
I think that says something there.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.